So the first stitch that we're going to look at is a running stitch. Okay, so you basically just do a stitch and there's a space in between. You can leave that space as big or as small as you want. Same with the stitch. You do want to make sure that you start with a knotted off piece of string, whether it's embroidery thread or regular thread. So basically what you do is you come up from the bottom, go back down through the top, skip a little, and repeat. And you want to try to make sure that it's about the same size. Miss Brook messed up there and it's a little bit longer, but that's okay. And again, if you wanted to go back, you always could. But that is a running stitch. It is the simplest, most basic stitch that there is. But let's say that you don't like those spaces and you would like something that looks more like one full line. Now there's a satin stitch where you do basically make one huge loop, but you can also do a back stitch. So you're going to start with a running stitch, okay? And then you're gonna skip ahead, all right? And then you're gonna come back through this hole from that previous stitch. Oops. Got distracted by my phone going off. Okay? And then that creates one illusion of a line, and you just keep doing that. You skip ahead and then go back through the hole. And that's a back stitch. But to actually sew the two pieces together, I used a blanket stitch. And a blanket stitch is pretty easy, but it's kind of hard to start. So you want to start with a knotted thread, and you're going to go ahead and come up through one piece just so you can hide that knot, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and make one essentially running stitch, and you're going to start that way. So that's your first one. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over however far you want, okay? But you want to make sure that you loop, that you go in almost like you're tying a knot through the loop, okay? So basically what happens is, look at that, isn't that cool? And then you're gonna do it again. And so I've taken a piece of felt, folded it over, and traced my cup because I like that circle. So that's what you need to do, and then you just want to go ahead and cut out both of those together. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to use the blanket stitch like I showed you to sew it up, and that'll kind of take care of any kind of imperfection. So just make sure that it's close to the same size and round, and you'll be good. Now it's time to embellish. So I've done my design, and honestly you can do a more intricate design than this. You can use different colors, you don't have to stick to just one, but for simplicity's sake I stuck to one. But I want to add some sparkle because it's Christmas. So when you're dealing with sequins, figure out where you want it. You want to go ahead and thread that through, and you can either just do a simple loop and go at a diagonal and attach it that way, or I like to actually use a little stopper. So basically you just get a smaller bead. I'm going to go ahead and again pull that through, and then you're going to kind of like a back stitch, go back through that hole, and then that is going to secure your sequin in place. Isn't that fun? And just keep doing that. Have fun with your design. And now it's time to sew your two pieces together once you've embellished it the way you want to. And I use that blanket stitch that I showed you because I think it's pretty. But I didn't go all the way around. I left a little spot. I'm going to go back and finish this with the blanket stitch. But first, we want to make sure that we stuff it. And I've just taken cotton balls and pulled them apart because I don't want it to feel like a bunch of cotton balls in there. I want it to feel more like a pillow stuffing, right? Or a stuffed animal. And just go ahead and stuff that in there. Just be careful. You don't want to pull apart your very hard, handy stitch work, okay? And just kind of move that around and decide if that's how stuffed you want it to be. If you need a little bit more, grab another cotton ball, pull it apart, and shove it in there. And then you'll go back and do the last little bit of blanket stitching right here, and you will have an ornament. All right, last but not least, you'll probably want to have something to hang your ornament with. Now you do not have to do this. You can actually, because it's felt, just use one of those ornament hooks and it's fine. But I thought I'd add a little decorative touch, so I've knotted off my thread, and I'm actually going to go ahead and hide the knot here so that we don't see the knot. I'm going to put that here, and then I'm just going to loosely stitch it with just a couple of quick stitches back here. And I'm not going to go through both layers. I'm just going to go through this back layer, and it's not going to be super pretty, but nobody's really going to see the back, so it's okay. We just want to make sure that we have some way to hang our lovely ornament on our tree. And so again, just kind of stitch that on there. A few quick stitches if you want to, and then looky there, you've got a perfectly good Christmas ornament. Thank you so much for creating with us today. We hope that you have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. And remember, if you did create alongside us, make sure that you post your creations because we love seeing what you make. Have a wonderful holiday, friends. Bye-bye.